Skip Schumaker from the Dodgers had some strong comments about Ryan Braun. Now, normally, baseball players will keep comments in-house, that they don't come out and say something about other players. I'm glad that we got this reaction from players. Now, guys on Twitter went after Ryan Braun when this happened because I think it's called the Players Association. The players need to be in charge of the Players Association. And if you're going to continue to let these guys get away with this, then it's on you. You know, the blame, the shame is on you guys because you should speak up. The first place Dodgers, he's the outfielder for the Dodgers, Skip Schumaker, joining us on the show. What made you speak up on this, Skip, in the first place?
Well, I've had enough. To be honest with you, I'm a father first. I have a son that's 5 years old who's really starting to get into sports, into baseball, and knows all the really good players and names. And I have jerseys and baseball memorabilia in a baseball room, and I'm trying to be as good of a role model as I can for my son. And I want him looking up to me and looking up to all the guys in our clubhouse and what they do on and off the field. And it's tragic to me that another superstar baseball player, one that I was hoping he would look up to, was caught with steroids again. I mean, it's ridiculous.
You had his jersey hanging in your house?
Yeah, I have a baseball room. I have about 10 to 12 jerseys hanging up that I have autographed to my son, to Brody, and they usually say, something, in the middle of that and then sign their name, and that won't be one of them anymore.
How well do you know Ryan Braun?
Not great. We have the same agent, and so we've been out to dinner, one or two times, and so not great. But I've played against him for years, in the Central Division, and when I was with the Cardinals, and that's what I think is the most frustrating part is, he kicked our butt a lot of years, and games were changed, and wins and losses were changed because of him and how good of a player he is and what he did on the field. And so I think that's what's frustrating.
Would you give that MVP to Matt Kemp if you're the commissioner?
Absolutely, 100%. Matt Kemp was the best player that year. I thought better than Braun anyways, not on steroids. So I think the Olympic Committee gives gold medals, so it takes them away from the Olympians. Why can't you take an MVP trophy away?
How would you react if Braun said, I'm going to give this MVP to Matt Kemp? What would you think of Ryan Braun?
I'd like him a little bit better if he did that. I think it should be taken away. I mean, he doesn't deserve it. If he was on steroids during that MVP season, he doesn't deserve it. And Matt Kemp works hard. He's a hard worker. He deserved that MVP, and it should be his.
Why don't the players speak up in the Players Association? Because this has gone on for 15, 20 years now, Skip.
Well, I think they've done a great job of trying to clean it up. I mean, initially I thought the 50 games, 100 games, a lifetime ban penalties were going to be enough. And, when that first happened a few years ago, I was taken back by it. I thought it would really hit the players. And it has. I think the game has cleaned up a lot from where it's been. But when guys are still taking it, there needs to be harsher penalties, and I didn't think there needed to be at the beginning, but because of all these names coming out, I believe there needs to be a harsher penalty.
If I said you could have Ryan Braun's career or yours?
Mine. Mine's not a very good one, but I can look myself in the mirror knowing I did everything I could to be where I am. Without cheating the game or myself or my family.
Talking to the Dodgers outfielder, Skip Schumaker, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. When's the last time you were around or asked if you wanted to use?
I've never been asked or around it. If you want it, you can go get it. There's places you could probably go get it. I'm sure there's doctors that are obviously handing it out still. So I've never been around it or have done it. And I'm not going to do it. So it's just one of those things that if you want to get it, just like any other drug, you can find it.
But I think the temptation, here's the problem, is it can put good guys in a position where they have to make a decision. If it means you're going to be sent down to the minors, you're going to be released, you see these kids from a third world country, they would do anything they could to, stay in the show. That's the problem I have with this. You have good players, great players using. Imagine about the marginal players and that dilemma that it puts on them.
Well, I'm a marginal player, so and it hasn't crossed my mind, and so that's why I think maybe more people can relate to a guy like me instead of a superstar like a Braun. How frustrating it can be for me, who is really grinding to stay in the big leagues without taking anything, and these superstars are continuing to take them and affecting the game, and games played, and that type of stuff just really bothers me. But until there's a stiffer penalty where guys are going to be either contracts are voided or lifetime bans, where guys are really going to think about what they're doing, it's going to maybe continue to happen, which is unfortunate.
Can you spot a cheater?
No, I felt like I used to be able to do it, but it's not all about like muscle anymore. It's Ryan Braun isn't this freak guy that's just muscle guy. That's what the issue is. I mean, there's pitchers that have taken it that I've been surprised about. There's guys on this list that I'm surprised about. They don't look like these bodybuilder types, and so it's hard to figure it out.
How would you feel if a teammate got popped?
I feel the same way that I do about Ryan Braun. We can't have it in the game. Can't have it on my team. I can't have it. Period. I mean, it needs to be cleaned up. And like I said, there has to be some sort of a stiffer penalty. I thought the 50 games to 100 games was good at the beginning, but it has to be a voided of a contract or a lifetime ban. That's the only way you're going to get these guys' attention.
Your hitting coach is Mark McGuire.
Yeah.
What kind of conversations have you had with him?
Well, Mark's never lied. I mean, that's the thing with Braun is, I mean, he had this heartfelt conversation, to the fans and to players, and I was convinced, and I was backing him with all my non-baseball friends back home that I believe him, and I think in Mark's era it was a different era, a different time, a different I wasn't involved in that time period of when everybody felt like everybody was doing it in baseball. And
well, would you have used back then if it was a different climate?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't play back then, so I don't know the era back then. I can speak for where we're playing right now and what I feel strongly about right now.
What happened with this team that you guys are on the verge of a terrible season, slow start? Mattingly's going to be fired, and here you are in first place.
Well, I think it started with 100% started with Puig coming up and Hanley getting healthy, and it makes our lineup so much deeper when we have Hanley Ramirez, who I believe right now is the MVP of our team, and if he keeps going, could be the MVP of the league. I mean, this guy is the real deal. He's playing great shortstop, but I think once these guys got healthy, it made our lineup so much longer, and our pitching was always pretty good. Our bullpen was a little shaky at the beginning, but it is one of the top bullpens in the league, in my opinion, and we're just rolling now. It just feels like when we're coming to the field, something bad has to happen for us to lose, and that's a really good feeling.
Appreciate your comments, Skip. Thanks for joining us.
All right, Dan, thank you.
Skip Schumaker, Dodgers outfielder.